recording.
Hi everyone, a quick Lightroom tutorial. On the back of yesterday's video, had a few requests about seeing some of my workflow processes for Lightroom. I'm in the Fontainebleau forest at the moment in an Airbnb. It's a beautiful day outside. I'm on the road again, so it's not ideal conditions to be editing photographs, but kind of doing what I can when I can. The colours in the forest out there at the moment are absolutely incredible. And when I was editing my photographs from Chernobyl yesterday, I kind of wanted to get a bit more of that autumnal feel into the images because I'm about to write an article about Chernobyl for a website talking about the growth of dark tourism and kind of urban exploration becoming this sanitized experience. So I was sitting there editing the images, and when I was in Ukraine a couple of weeks ago, you know, it's a very grey day. And it was just kind of at the start of autumn, so there's a little bit of change happening in the leaves. And now being in the forest, seeing all these amazing colours, the reds, the yellows, and the oranges coming out, I wanted to get a little bit of that into my images for this article, so it's kind of got a bit of a seasonal feel to them. So we're going to run through all of my processes that I was going through yesterday, just kind of playing and discovering what I wanted to do with the images as I was kind of editing them. And we'll have a very, very quick run through a load of stuff that I do as kind of as standard, and then a little look at what I was doing to really make the images feel a bit more like autumn than they actually were. So off the bat, we bring the highlights down, boost the shadows up. We can also bring the whites down and kind of get a bit of depth into the blacks. The clarity I put straight up to about 30. And the highlights are kind of, I mean, it's such a grey day when we're in Ukraine, like no detail in the sky whatsoever. The highlights I'm bringing down just to try and get a bit of detail in there. The whites as well, we might start to see a little bit of something in the clouds because otherwise it was just nothing there at all. What I'll do as well, effects, is just bring a bit of a vignette in, and immediately you can see a bit more in the sky there. Now I tend to go a little bit crazy with the first edit, and then I'll come back to the images a few days later and kind of tone them down a little bit. I kind of put a lot of the feel of the day into it at first, and then I'll come back later on and just kind of wind it back and be a little less kind of carried away. Another thing that I'm doing quite a lot at the moment is playing with the tone curve, just lifting these blacks just a little bit. I'll do this very clumsily for now. I was kind of too far. I was cranking it up to around 10. It's starting to verge on kind of an HDR feel, which I don't really like, especially with the amount of concrete that's going on, especially within some of the other images. So I'm kind of bringing that down. You'll see that's around about 7.8. That'll do for now. And you'll see that we're getting a lot more in the sky now, sliding that highlight slider across. I'm fortunate to be shooting on a full frame camera, which means I've got loads of latitude within the image, so that when I drag detail into the sky, it kind of stays there. You kind of get a bit more out of it without kind of getting loads of horrible things happening. Onto the more interesting bit now, which is to play with the colours a little bit. You can see a little bit of the oranges and the yellows in this image, and I really wanted to bring that out and give more of an autumnal feel. And we can see in the colour section here in Lightroom, we've got our red, orange and yellow sliders. They're the ones we can have a quick play with today. So straight away, I kind of want the oranges to be a bit more red and the reds to be a bit more orange and the yellows to be a bit more orange as well. You can see on that top hue slider, it gives you a kind of a graduated scale of where that tone is going, depending on which way you slide it. So the yellows can go towards green, or they can go towards orange. The oranges can go towards red, or they can go towards yellow, etc., etc. So immediately you can see the difference there as we bring all of those various colours towards a general orange. The reds become more orange, oranges become more red, yellows become more orange. We can boost the saturation a little bit as well, and all of those. And the other thing you can do to kind of make a colour come out a little bit more is just to drop the luminance. That tends to be one of the most effective things for me. I tend not to play with the saturation too much, and I tend not to want to boost that because it starts doing some pretty funky things. So in fact, I might just bring that down a little bit and just rely on the luminance to bring those colours out. And you'll see that the reds especially are starting to come out in the actual concrete and kind of the leaf litter at the base of these trees as well. So playing with these sliders will affect other parts of the image. It's not just the leaves that are going to get messed around with, but other parts of the image as well. And that can kind of set a tone for a set of images and give a kind of consistency of feel across a number of images. So if we look at with and without those changes, you can see it's kind of a grey day, no real warmth to it. Boost those colours all of a sudden, and you're getting a much more autumnal feel. The other thing we could do is start to play with the warmth of the image a little bit, bringing the colour temperature up, and also you've got this slider at the bottom, the tint, to take it towards pink, which I don't really like, so we'll bring that back again. A double click resets it to what it was before. I'm kind of pretty pleased with that image. We'll have a quick look at my original edit, which I was doing yesterday. It's a little bit colder. Maybe I've overcooked this one a little bit, but I kind of like the colours in this image now. Maybe the exposure needs to come down just to kind of give a bit more moodiness to the image. But other than that, I'm pretty pleased. And as part of a set of images, this kind of feel, it's kind of bled into the other stuff that I shot that day. You can see similar sort of setup on the right hand side here with the images, with the color sliders here. Haven't really played with the red in this. There's something else adding a little bit later on. So there we go, quick look at how you can get some autumnal colours into your shots at the moment. If there's not enough red and orange there, how you can play with that a little bit. The other thing you can have a look at as well, split toning. I've got a little bit of a split tone in this image. Maybe I'll do a tutorial on that at another time. We can have a look at the principles of how you can play with that, and colour charts and complementary colours and all that stuff. Anyway, any questions, leave them in the comments. Please share, like, subscribe, all the usual stuff, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.